I'm your host, Annie Bowles, and this is News du Jour. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the News du Jour, a calmer space to consume the news. So today we have a couple stories for you guys to go over. Nothing too crazy. Let's go ahead and jump in. So there's definitely been some drama going down on Capitol Hill. In case you didn't know, it surrounds Kevin McCarthy, and we're going to go ahead and break down this subject. Maybe you've seen a headline and what is going on with this man? Or maybe you have no idea. Either way, let's go ahead and jump into this story. McCarthy's meltdown. So this is not the first time that this has happened to Kevin McCarthy. He has tried and failed to obtain the speakership twice now. He could only afford to lose 4 votes in order to secure his place as Speaker of the House. And if you guys remember, the Republicans just won control of the House of Representatives. So it's their turn to elect a leader as Speaker. It's been Nancy Pelosi for quite some time now. But now it's their turn. So again, he could only lose 4 votes in order to secure his place as Speaker. But he was voted down by 19 different Republicans. Woof. So this is definitely a slap in the face. Some of the Republicans who voted no said that they felt McCarthy represented the status quo in DC, and that they're just looking for someone, some fresh blood and someone who thinks outside the box more. This was definitely an embarrassing blow, though, for a congressman who was first elected back in 2006. He's been around the block, and he had literally said in a closed-door meeting that he had, quote, earned the job, end quote. And the debacle led to some snickering on the side of the Democrats, who had picked Hakeem Jeffries pretty unanimously to lead the Senate without drama. So what is next? Well, the Republicans will have to regroup and figure out who will be their next candidate for the job. After that, there'll be another vote, and that pattern will continue for as long as it takes to get someone voted in. It could be days or even weeks, but at the end of the day, the House of Representatives cannot do anything until this matter is settled. So it is of top importance that Republicans pick somebody. Stay tuned. And next up for today, Brazilian authorities will be following up on their charges against George Santos. So if you guys remember, we've talked about George Santos on here before, but he is the recently elected New York Republican who admitted to fabricating pretty much his whole life story on the campaign trail. Well, the Brazilian government has now announced that they will be pursuing a case against him that dates back years and years to when he was 19 years old. The case originated back in 2008, and it had been stalled out because authorities could not find Mr. Santos. And now that they have not only located him, but found out he is pursuing political office, they are taking the opportunity to try to extradite him potentially back to Brazil to help him or make him face the music. The charges involve a stolen checkbook that Santos reportedly used to spend $700, you guys, at a clothing store at age 19. The checkbook belonged to his mom's boss. He eventually admitted to the fraud online back in 2009, but has never shown up in court to take responsibility. Instead, he ran to Queens. What's more, Santos might actually face charges here in the US as well for lying to constituents about important facts like his education, where he's worked, religion, and his financial background. Santos was supposedly using campaign dollars to pay his rent and tens of thousands of dollars on flights and things like that. And these types of charges may be against campaign finance laws that prevent you from spending money on personal things. He's lawyered up and claims that he is not a criminal. The next step in the Brazilian courts will be to basically let him know, like notify him that they're continuing with these charges. And from there, they will correspond with the DOJ on next steps. So we'll definitely keep you guys posted in all of this. And last up for today, there has been a very bad storm in Arkansas and Louisiana. So with climate change, it's really important to understand that storms are going to come out of absolutely nowhere, and they will be largely less predictable than weather patterns had been previously. So it's just going to feel like things escalate really quickly sometimes. And that's exactly what happened across Arkansas and Louisiana, with a storm spiraling off into a number of tornadoes. Thousands have been left without power, trees were ripped up by the roots, and cars were thrown off the road. This is the same storm pattern that had actually just flooded and, drenched Northern California just days earlier. If you guys remember, we covered that yesterday. It swept cars off roadways and sunk them into waterways. And it was just an all-around disaster coupled with a second earthquake. So, things are getting dramatically worse, and it's just, a matter of holding on tight. We have a lot more coming when it comes to climate. We're doing some special projects, so stay tuned for all of that coming from us. We'll take a closer look at what's going on with the planet, and that is the news du jour. Today, I wanted to leave you guys with the quote, "Whoever is trying to bring you down is already below you." If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe on whatever podcast platform you use to listen. A rate and review or shout out on social media would mean the world to us and help us be able to keep creating the news du jour. But the best way to support all of our work is to become a patron at www.patreon.com/sugarfreemedia. You can also follow us on social media under sugarfreemedia.co on Instagram and just sugarfreemedia, all one word, on TikTok. We appreciate you listening and look forward to telling you about the news again next time on News du Jour.
Broadcasting from Oklahoma. Broadcasting from
Oklahoma.